I want to welcome you back for another live stream. Now, here on my channel, I do like to do a lot of live streams because I got nothing else to do this time of year. We're just waiting on work to start up with the construction. That way I can get out and start hauling some gravel. But I've been doing the carnivore diet for quite some time. This week, I have been doing a lot of fasting. So I've been setting up my fast with an application I have. It's called like Life something or other. You can find it in the Play Store. It's a little blue heart icon, and there's many different types of fasting applications to use to help us control our hunger, to help us control a lot of things. Blood sugar. Some people's cases, it's diabetes. It's all kinds of stuff that fasting helps with. And for me, considering I'm a binge eater, it doesn't matter what the food is. I like to eat a lot of it. So when I'm breaking my fast, I like to come out of it somewhat gently. I didn't talk about this in previous videos, but when I come out of the fast, I try to eat something healthy like this here. Greek yogurt works extremely well for breaking a fast because it's like a mild fat content, and it's incredibly delicious. So after you're done fasting, use something light on your gut in order to break the fast, and that way it'll get your gut biome set up so you can actually eat some real food. And it only takes a couple of hours to get that ready, by the way. I mean, to get your gut in a better situation, probably less than an hour. Typically what I do is I eat a little bit of Greek yogurt, and then in the process after that, I start getting set up to actually cook some food, maybe brown some hamburger, cook some eggs, and get everything ready to make a burger bowl. And that'll be my technical first meal of the day. Will be a couple bites of this here. Oh yeah. Yeah, so creamy and so good. Now, before I started the carnivore diet and I figured out how to fast, my taste buds did not like the taste of yogurt, did not like specifically the texture of Greek yogurt. But that has all changed, and that does change pretty quickly over time. And hey, good morning there, Amber. Yeah, just inviting you guys, sit down, have breakfast with me. And this is what I'm doing to break my fast today. We're starting out with some Greek yogurt. I've already had some of this a little while ago. And today I was smart enough to go to the fasting application and shut off my fast so I don't have to do any science when I get home. Hey there, Focus, and relax. Hi, pal. What's up? Hey, how you doing there, Focus? I appreciate you jumping in. But yeah, this is just the easiest way I've found to break a fast. Now, if you're not doing a strict carnivore diet, you can break your fast with avocado, beef broth, chicken broth, stuff like that. You don't want to overdo it within the first 45 minutes to an hour until you get your gut set up and get the bile production up. Because if you don't, you're going to have a situation like I had the other day when I broke my fast. I ate too much protein right away, and it made me feel a certain way. I did have some runny stools for a period of time. That has since corrected itself, thankfully. But that's just something that happens when we just dramatically stop a fast and just start eating food. And I'm talking an extended fast of over 36 hours. My last two fasts have been right around 40 hours each, and there has been some pretty good weight loss. I'm talking like 7 or 8 pounds of weight has come off since I started that, and I've only started doing the 36-hour fasting again this week. So there are some benefits there. It is helping me control my urges to want to eat. So, I mean, it's a win-win type situation there. Have you sent Harry the cable guy arm wrestle? I don't know what that means, Ed. Focus, are you on a diet? Yes, absolutely. I'm doing a diet there, Focus. I do the carnivore diet, but I've done so many different types of diets. I've done fasting of all kinds. I'm still trying to come up with my own way of creating a reliable mimicking type fasting, something that I can document and prove, later on and say like, hey, okay, this works. Because a question I get asked quite often is, hey, what have you found for reliable fasting, sustainable fasting weight loss? Well, so far I haven't really found anything sustainable, because once you do something for so long, you tend to hit a plateau and you hit a wall. You're not losing weight. You might start retaining water, and it gets extremely frustrating. Let's see, calories in must not be greater than calories out. Yes, that's a little true, Ed, but not 100% correct. I can totally overeat calories and still lose weight. So it really matters where the calories come from, because all calories are not equal. Now, if I should eat 2,500 calories in a day and it's all sugar and carbs, yeah, I'm going to gain a lot of weight. Now, if I should eat 3,000 to 4,000 calories of meat in the same day, those calories aren't going to process the same. And I'm going to lose weight. That's kind of how it works. Or at least at minimum, I'm going to maintain whatever weight I had. So I'm not going to be, jumping up on those scale numbers. I mean, we're going to gain a little bit of weight because I ate X amount of food, but that's absolutely normal. And what I have here is I just browned up all the burger meat I had from yesterday when I was processing that Costco, that big giant tube of burger. So I browned that up this morning. I fried up about 4 eggs, and I threw it in here with 1 slice of broken up Swiss cheese, a little bit of hot sauce on the top, and that's it. That's my first meal after having the Greek yogurt. And this will work really well. This is going to give you a boost of energy for the day. It's so much better to start your day out with protein than it is to start your day out with carbohydrates, sugars, really sweet, overly processed syrups and stuff like that. So I just try to avoid all that nonsense. Breakfast was never meant to be a dessert type meal. And I think that's where I personally screwed up for many years, because I was eating French toast. I was eating pancakes. I was putting on the really crappy high fructose type syrups. I mean, if you're going to use syrup, use a real maple syrup. Nothing with all that fake stuff in it, because it's the fake stuff that's really screwing up our guts. That fake stuff is also screwing up our kidneys, our pancreas, our entire digestive system. So yeah, I just try to stay away from all the fake ingredients as much as possible. Anything with like soybean or vegetable oil, yeah, totally avoid it. Deep fried foods, yeah, that's a no bueno for me. You should eat broccoli. I have eaten broccoli in the past. Broccoli does tend to make me extremely bloated, irritated, uncomfortable, and constipated at times. So, but I have had success with broccoli in the past. But over time, as we age, and I'm getting up to about 50 years old now, specific vegetables and certain things like that tend to change the way our bodies react. And it also has to do with what else we're eating at the same time. So if I'm eating broccoli and I'm also eating unhealthy options, yeah, it's not going to work. It's kind of pointless to eat broccoli. But right now I'm just doing the carnivore diet because it helps me control my binge eating. It's really hard to overeat natural fats. It's really hard to overeat meat because there's a shutoff switch in our brain that tells us, okay, you've had enough, stop. That shutoff switch isn't there for broccoli. You just get overly stuffed with broccoli, and I've done this too. I did something called the Fighter's Diet. Pauline Nordine, she's a real muscly gal that promoted that diet for a little while. I think she's gotten away from it. But on the Fighter's Diet, I was eating about 5 handful size cups of broccoli throughout the day. That's all I was eating for an entire week. So yes, I was losing weight. I was very bloated. I was very irritable. My gut was not liking it. So I only did that for about a period of a month. And then I started mixing that broccoli in with chicken and some more healthier fats with natural butter. That worked out pretty good. But that's a cutting type diet. That's the type of diet you do if you want to gain, like muscle definition. And you have to kind of slightly dehydrate yourself throughout that process in order for it to give you the end results. People that cut for photo ops and stuff like that, they're not happy when they're cutting and getting that body, that chiseled look. They are not happy people. I mean, I would rather promote, healthy eating, easier to understand type advice than trying to get into all the macronutrients and super science of all the nonsense out there, because it's so confusing when you really start digging into it. Hey there, someone says, great. Just remember that God says gluttony is a sin. Absolutely, Lisa Marie. That's a problem I have been struggling with for several years. That's why I'm trying to fix it. And so far, the carnivore diet has been helping me fix that. So when I'm not eating a meal, like say breakfast, lunch, or dinner, I tend to not want to snack throughout the day. And that's where a lot of my gluttony came in, is I was snacking nonstop, and then I was eating dinner, and then I would eat another dinner, or second breakfast, as we like to call it. It's just one of those things. But hey, guys, you notice I put my hat on today because everybody's been picking on me in these live streams for my big giant forehead. So here you go. I'm covering it up, but it does create a little shadow there over my eyes. Smoking some lemon cherry gelato. I'm not sure what that is. I've never had that before. Uh, in that case, maybe you should try a keto diet. Okay, I have done the keto diet. That is exactly what led me to the carnivore diet. Is all the frustration, the over sciencing, all the confusing topics around keto, because it gets very complicated, especially when you're trying to dial in certain things. If you go to the store and you're trying to search keto items and you're new to it, it's extremely frustrating because you're picking up all these items that say keto on the package. But when you flip the package over and you understand the ingredients and break down what's in there, it's not keto friendly. A lot of times these options provide a lot of potato starch, cellulose, different type of fibers, random ingredients that aren't keto friendly. Now, potatoes in general tend to spike someone's blood sugar. So I'm not sure why these things are allowed to be packaged that way, because for me, that wasn't a good, healthy keto option, even though I believed it at first, because we've been lied to on packaging for so many years, heart healthy Cheerios, and now the FDA is claiming that Lucky Charms is healthier than eating ground meat. I mean, that's just craziness to me. I mean, everything in this world is upside down. I imagine you have arthritis or bad knees. I used to, Ed. Now, before I started the carnivore diet, I had really bad knees. I had edema, severe edema, which is where your legs start swelling. I had severe arthritis in my hands. These fingers used to be twice the size. So that was about the size of one of my fingers right there beforehand. They were just huge, giant fingers. And the wedding ring, I had to get a new wedding ring because my finger shrunk so much that the old wedding ring, if I just held my hand like this, it would just fall to the ground, and I had to find it. I lost it in a store once. That was kind of a pain in the butt, so we had to go back and get it. I agree with you, John. Keto is way too complicated. It consists of carbs, which makes you hungry. I mean, Donna says a good point there. Keto is complicated. There's a lot of diets out there overly complicated. The carnivore diet is pretty simple. One thing I liked about the carnivore diet is that it doesn't overcomplicate things with science and big words, and that people don't have to just stand there and say, hey, I'm smarter than you, like other people that talk about other type of diets, because I'm not the brightest bulb in the box. And if I can figure out carnivore, I believe just about anybody else can figure out carnivore as well. So something I've been trying to come up with lately is a fasting mimicking type diet. I have done some research. I did it this morning, so it's fresh on the memory. Now, the doctor, I don't know the doctor's name, so I can't quote that, but the doctor that actually patented the idea of fasting mimicking, he had a crazy sales plan. He was selling it for like $200 and something. It wasn't the best plan. It was overly complicated. The people that were trying it were actually kind of miserable. This is just the plan that he came up with, and it was supposed to mimic a fasting type diet, and hopefully help keep you in ketosis and weight loss. But a lot of the stuff in his plan were not keto friendly. There was a lot of sugars. There was a lot of carbs added into his plan. Just a lot of ingredients that just did not jive with, trying to reduce arthritis and inflammation and stuff like that. So you cut out the soybean oil for starters and vegetable oils. The arthritis tends to start going away naturally. But that's a hard thing because so many foods now have soybean oil and vegetable oil, high fructose corn syrup. And yeah, high fructose corn syrup does. Yeah, it helps, inflame arthritis. It's all inflammatory. If we stop it with all the inflammatory products or stuff that creates inflammation in yourself, per se, then yeah, you're going to be fixing a lot of issues without having to go to the doctor as often. And the only reason I've been going to the doctor is just to see what my blood work's looking like, because I was super paranoid when I started the carnivore diet. I was like, well, am I going to ruin my health? Am I going to ruin my gut health? Am I going to have a heart attack? Am I going to have high cholesterol and LDL and then force myself into an early grave? Well, so far, even when I tried to screw it up, and I tried to screw up the carnivore diet just to see if it was possible, because I'm weird like that, just like how I do a lot of my fasting practices on my channel. And I didn't have any adverse effects. If anything, it was more positive. My blood pressure stabilized. My arthritis went away. Vision improved. Now, on the carnivore diet, your BO, body odor, goes away. I mean, I can go for long walks and hikes with the wife out in the wilderness here in Alaska, and I come back and I don't stink. That's a winner. My feet don't smell anymore like they used to, because when I was eating all that highly processed crap type foods, my feet always had an odor. My shoes always stunk. My boots stunk to holy high heck. I had to sit them outside on the porch sometimes. They smelled so bad. And that was because of all the toxins just trying to escape the body. And that's why we get BO. That's why we get smelly feet. It's because we're eating crap food. So when you don't eat the crap food, you don't have to worry about that. I am not from Texas. I am from Alaska. They're 1993 king. Let's see. Out to Kyle. You need to educate yourself about carbs. See Dr. Kim Berry, Dr. Anthony Chafee, and Dr. Sean Baker, all around YouTube, and they will educate you. Well, here's the problem, Donna. These people that are commenting this stuff, they don't want to be educated. They really don't, I don't believe, because even when I was struggling, I didn't want to be educated. I thought I knew something about health. I thought I was making good choices, and I wasn't making good choices at all. I mean, I might make a couple good choices in a day, and I would screw that up by dinner time. And then after dinner time, I'd have a crazy dessert thinking it's only one little thing. And then it would turn into two little things and a whole pint of ice cream. And I still thought I was doing pretty good. But yeah, when you're carb addicted and sugar addicted, these people don't tend to want to listen. They don't want to research anything. They don't feel like they need to, because right now they're probably young. You know, I'm guessing like in their 20s and before 30 years old. And they just don't grasp the concept of what us older types are going through and experiencing. I mean, because if you're over the age of 40, yeah, you can definitely benefit from all of this type of stuff here. Let's see, didn't work for us. Something there, Kyle said. What you mean didn't work? You're eating too many calories. It isn't rocket science, Kyle. Like I said before, you can eat more calories and actually maintain the same amount of weight. It just depends on where the calories come from. Now, if you're getting crazy calories from sugar and carbohydrates, and yeah, you're going to gain some weight, because it's going to create other issues going on in the body. And a lot of that is inflammation and water retention. Now, that's something that all of us are affected by, is inflammation and water retention. A lot of the cancers out there are caused by inflammation and just poor eating the wrong type of products, fake type products, overly processed products. And people just do it. Cancer loves three things. Cancer loves sugar, low oxygen, and stress. Those are the three factors for cancer, just cancer tornadoes inside the body. You have heard that, though. I thought I was just hooked on sugar. I had no idea that carbs turn into sugar and metabolize our food. Yeah, Shadow Jack. Like a lot of the vegetables, that's a problem that many of us have with vegetables. Something as simple as lettuce, spinach, even nuts. I mean, it all turns into sugar. I mean, it just turns into sugar, turns into glucose. We have glucose spikes. When that glucose spike roller coaster comes down, we're craving more. We tend to be more hungry after the fact, and that's where the protein comes in. Even on a vegan diet, what do they recommend? They recommend you eat more protein because it makes you full. Go figure. It makes you full. Now, they might be doing plant-based protein on a vegan type diet, but still, if you sit there and just eat salad after salad after salad for an entire month, you're going to be a miserable cow. You're going to be hungry the entire time. Or you're going to do like I did and screw it up by adding a ton of cheese, a ton of dressing, because salads taste like crap. I mean, even if you got really, really good vegetables, they tend to taste like crap. And that's why most of us don't tend to eat salads anymore. And even when we did, it just wasn't that fun. I think the Native Americans either originated in South America or Russia, Mongolian, Asia. The majority of almost all natives came from an Asian descent, if you go really far back. So yeah, absolutely, Asian descent. Plants have oxalates, and the oxalates are extremely dangerous for me. Oxalates create kidney stones. So I don't know how these people are doing the raw vegan type diet, because there's so many oxalates in raw vegetables. And that's one thing they teach you when they get into the overcomplicated science of a vegan type diet, is that you have to cook certain vegetables to reduce the oxalates. And then some people are preaching, you need to eat raw vegetables. It's like, well, So you really have to do some thinking, even if you're going that way. It's super complicated. That's why I didn't like it. It didn't work for me. Created a lot of kidney stones, and then when I got kidney stones, I had to come up with a different alternative to hopefully get a little bit healthier. They all quit eventually. That's the nice thing about the carnivore diet. It's after a period of time, it becomes enjoyable. It's not something that happens when you first start. Because most people that started were taught, the traditional food pyramid of, you got to eat, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, all the way down the pyramid. Well, that was all fine and dandy for a little while. And then, 20, 30 years passed after that food pyramid was created. And then people started becoming morbidly obese. Well, it wasn't necessarily because of the food pyramid. It was because all the foods in the grocery store changed. They started changing around 1990 when everything was overly processed. They were trying to extend shelf life. That's where the morbidly obese people started to uptick in the United States, and it's been going up ever since. Now, other countries right now that are allowing like the standard American type diet way of eating, they are seeing a dramatic uptick in morbidly obese people because there's a bunch of overly processed foods with nonsense ingredients, too much high fructose corn syrup getting in their shelves and getting out to their population. Well, this happens quickly because these products are designed specifically to cater to people's laziness. The easy food, the easy stuff that doesn't take any time or consideration to make. That's how we get so screwed up in the head. And once we're extremely sugar addicted and carb addicted, it affects our brain in a way. It's hard for us to communicate. You think everything's okay, you think you're normal, but when you get it all out of your system for an extended period of time, you start thinking better. You start being able to communicate better. And that's just one of the many benefits of doing a low carb, no carb type diet. Let's see, it's a book called Einstein. I don't even know what that word is. Hey there, Felix. I appreciate you dropping in there. Hello, sorry I'm late. Oh, that's okay there, Sunshine. We just started off the live stream talking about how I'm breaking my fast. I broke it wrong the other day because I ate those burger patties right off the bat. That is not the right way to break a fast. And I don't want to be trying to reiterate this over and over again. It's really important to break an extended fast of anything over 36 hours. And you got to come out lightly, with like chicken broth. Something I use today to break the fast that tends to work pretty good is Greek yogurt. About 3 to 4 spoonfuls of this. It helps you create enough bile in your gut to accept more heartier type proteins shortly after. And this is just ground beef and about 4 eggs and 1 piece of broken up Swiss cheese with some hot sauce on top. Something else I like to use all the time is Himalayan salt. Grind that up, toss it on top. It works pretty well. The problem I had when I broke the fast incorrectly was if you shock your body with too much protein right off the bat after you're doing an extended type fast, it tends to cause diarrhea. And I did have some diarrhea for a period of time that fixed itself, thank goodness. But it's a problem. Let's see. 90% of doctors. Okay, what are you eating? Let's see. Right now, I have a burger bowl. It's just 80-20 ground beef. It's got 4 eggs that I fried up with 1 slice of broken up Swiss cheese in there. But yeah, let's see. I just had a plain Greek yogurt for breakfast myself. I add some sliced almonds for a crunch. Oof, those almonds would hurt me. Almonds have a lot of oxalates in it, and that was something because for a period of time I was suggested to actually eat raw spinach for a while, a bunch of different various nuts. And this was just trying to figure out my health situation way before I even started my weight loss journey. And it actually caused, I was morbidly obese at that time, but it caused a bunch of kidney stones. So since then, I've pretty much avoided the majority of all nuts because you could sit me down with some cashews or peanuts, and yeah, I'd be eating them right to the bottom of the container at times. Oh, that sounds good there. Yeah, homemade yogurt sounds absolutely amazing. I think we got some Asian buffets here in Anchorage. I'm talking to White out here. He wants to know what the best buffets in Anchorage are. Well, when I was constantly overeating, I used to go to China Lights for their buffet. They had a nice Oriental spread. They also had a very nice sushi option available. And at that time, I was into eating a lot of sushi. I was also eating like the sweet and sour chicken and the wontons and crab ragoons, deep fried stuff. And it was really messing me up. Another good buffet here in Anchorage is the Golden Corral. And the Golden Corral, I kind of like that even on the carnivore diet because they have a lot of pretty good meat items. They do steak, I believe, every single night after, I think it's after 5 p.m. here. It's somewhat affordable for a night out. You can eat all you want. So I could just keep going back and back and back and getting more steak. They had some nice burgers. They also have all the other typical Golden Corral type stuff there. But as long as you stay out of all the crap food at Golden Corral, you can actually have a pretty good experience and leave there feeling really good. I mean, you can feel good if you just focus on the majority of proteins and stay out of the deep fried stuff, the pizzas, whatever else they got there. They got so much weird stuff there. And the the chocolate fountain and the desserts. The bread is where they get you. You get into the bread and you put that yummy butter on the bread. I mean, yeah, that's a thing that we all suffered from. Like down in the lower 48, it was Country Kitchen was one of them. They had a buffet in Joplin, Missouri, and we used to go there. And before the food was even to us, we'd have all at the table eaten about 3 of those, tiny pieces of bread just smothered in that honey butter, and then we just screwed up the entire day for us. Hey, Kyle, appreciate you dropping in there. We'll see you later. I'm not sure what happened there. Something happened there. Donna, did you do a thing? Did you do a good thing? Yeah, it's because I took a medical establishing advice and followed the food pyramid, and that's what happened. I used to weigh my food, followed calorie crap. Yeah, I did. It got me fatter too there, Donna. I share that experience because for a while I was counting calories. When I started this weight loss journey, I thought it was like super important. I had to count calories. I didn't even know what a macro was. I still don't know how to figure out macros. I don't really care at this point because I'm doing so well without worrying about the calorie counts for the day. I do great not worrying about macros. What I do worry about is the type of vitamins and nutrition that I'm getting. So I do supplement a little bit, a little bit of magnesium, some zinc, fish oil, some D3s, and I don't even need to take B12 anymore because I get it from all the meats and fats that I'm eating. I get so much B12. My numbers on the charts in my blood work are just through the roof, and it's great. I do not hunt moose because moose are a pain in the butt. They tend to go in these weird spots, and if you get one, moose are huge. It takes a long time to get those suckers out of the woods. Hey, Shannon, I appreciate you jumping in there. But yeah, that's the one thing I like about the carnivore diet. And I had somebody yesterday, Noodles. He does a bunch of live streams of his own. I like the guy. I follow him. He's from Manhattan, New York. And he asked me in a live stream I jumped in yesterday. He's like, man, I don't know how you just eat, just burger patties. How do you do it? Well, I didn't have enough time to explain to him that, it's not just eating burgers. You can eat all kinds of stuff, just animal-based, animal-based products. You can eat yogurt, you can eat cheeses, everything within moderation. You got chicken, you got lamb, you got beef, you got steaks, you got hamburgers. There's tons of options out there in different ways you can make it taste good. I mean, it's just one of those things and it helps too, because I only eat so much now. I mean, I get to a point and I'm just full and I stop. So this is where I don't worry about the calories. I just eat until I'm satiated. Like if I get done with this bowl right now, which I'm not, I can just set it to the side or give it to the dog. No big deal. Or I can put it in the fridge for later. Think about that. I need to put this meat in the fridge. I cooked it up. So I cooked it up before I started the live stream, made some eggs. This pan should be nice and cold now. So I like to give the juices to the dog. Got to pay the puppy tax. Let her get some yum. But yeah, I cooked up enough beef. So now if I want to, later on in the day, I can make up another potentially 1 or 2 burger bowls out of that. That's already cooled off, so we're going to put that away in the fridge. But yeah, this lifestyle is super easy to maintain, because if this were vegetables, that we like to have on hand just in case, we got a whole bunch of vegetables down here, but look at this crap. I mean, hey, there's your freaking Alaskan lettuce. I mean, does that look appetizing to you? No. I mean, for one, this whole drawer is like overstuffed. I do still use a little bit of onion. I do not use tomatoes. I will not eat these type of carrots. But yeah, pretty much a lot of that gets thrown away. Well, that's a problem. That's a problem. I mean, having all these vegetables and fruits, a lot of them go bad. So why do we keep doing that to ourselves? Why do we keep buying all kinds of, fruits and vegetables? And a lot of times we like to buy it in bulk. And then we wind up just throwing it away. So how much money have we wasted on vegetables and fruits over the years just by buying the stuff and tossing it in the freaking garbage? Now, when I buy meats, I don't tend to waste them. Now, my vegetables, I can't just feed them to my dog. I live in the city, so it's not like I'm going to use all of my vegetables and stuff like that for compost or growing a garden or anything like that. So yeah, 9 times out of 10, we just throw them away. That's frustrating, because here in Alaska, vegetables are extremely expensive. I mean, there's a cost of shipping that comes up here. Even the local vegetables aren't necessarily cheap, and we can buy those at the farmer's market. And the locally grown vegetables are much healthier than the store-bought vegetables, and they always have been, because they're not treated the same way. They're not covered in all these pesticides and just nonsense poison type stuff. I mean, we have different type bugs up here. Let's see. I resemble that remark. Something, let's see, Sigma Alpha Donna. Sigma Alpha Donna. That's funny. People in the north have always eaten more meat for a reason. The Sami people here in Sweden eat reindeer like crazy. Yeah, reindeer is amazing. It's a good protein source, but it's not a good fat source as a general rule. So if you get the whole reindeer, you need to save all of the fat trimmings. You don't throw any of it away, because they need that fat for energy. They found native Alaskans up here dead on the tundra with a full stomach of caribou, reindeer, same thing. But that's because there wasn't enough fat content in the reindeer to keep them going. They burn that for energy. This is where things like muktuk, which is whale, come in handy. High fat, a lot of oil. We use a lot of seal oil up here. My relatives put seal oil on a lot of different foods they have. We eat, Alaskan natives in general, which I am. My family eats a lot of meat. They eat a lot of fatty meat. Unfortunately, some of them have gotten into, the grocery store type easy foods, like let's say ramen noodles, macaroni and cheese, whatever comes in a can or a box. And that's extremely expensive for them. I mean, up in Nome. So whatever you might pay for, a box of macaroni and cheese, which could be anywhere from 50 cents to 99 cents, up in Nome, that same box, could it be anywhere from $2.50 to $5 just for a box? So it makes more sense to go out hunting fish. Also picking the local berries around Nome. Those work out extremely well too. There's so many berries in Nome. I mean, there's just so much tundra and so many berry patches. It's just amazing. You can go almost anywhere in Nome and find berries. If you can see green leaves, chances are you're going to find some berries. They got salmon berries. They got blueberries. Wild blueberries, super healthy. We got raspberries. We got the salmon berries. I said that once, but yes, low-lying cranberries, awesome. Those things are great. They don't taste like ocean spray type cranberries. They got almost like a sweet taste. Let's see. Without fiber, you don't poop. And you are 100% wrong there, Mr. Mung. Without fiber, you don't poop. With fiber, makes me constipated. Now, I was actually prescribed to up my fiber intake at one point. And because I had IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, so they prescribed me fiber. Well, the fiber immediately made me constipated. Vegetable fiber also makes me severely constipated, screws me up, because not everybody digests food the same way. And fiber is not digestible, by the way. It's something that our bodies don't digest. And it just, I don't know why so many people are recommending fiber as the cure-all. Now, when I eat meat, I poop regular. I also poop very normal. I don't have weird poops anymore. I don't experience diarrhea unless I'm breaking a fast and I screw up the process of breaking a fast. That's the only time I experience diarrhea. But yeah, you totally poop like normal on the carnivore diet. It's just a myth that, you know, you start the carnivore diet, you're going to impact your colon with rotten meat. You're not going to poop right. It's just going to harden in there. Well, that's the exact opposite. It's meats and fats. The fats are soluble. You know, they break down. The protein is absorbed. So whatever waste is there is bare minimum at the end of your, end of your week or two of just eating raw meats and fats. It's amazing. Let's see. Red meat warning. Kent Carney. What is that? Colitis and red meat warning. Okay. Yo, I am honestly mind blown. I have Crohn's, and man, I have constantly passing liquid tar. Oh man, that's horrible. Yeah, I don't know how to fix that, but I hear people that have Crohn's disease, and I do believe if you research that, so you can back out of here and go to the YouTube search bar, you can type in Crohn's disease in the carnivore diet, and you might be able to research some amazing opportunities to hopefully help that out. Crohn's disease sucks. I mean, that is a horrible one too. But yeah, pretty much, whatever health situation you have, if you have, let's say arthritis, you have edema, where you're retaining water, just go in the YouTube search bar and just type it in. You can also put in, whatever the problem is, and then follow it up with the carnivore diet or a KetoVore diet or a vegetable type diet, whatever you are on. And that'll give you a plethora of information to hopefully help you figure out your own health issues, because we're at a time in our life where there's so much information out there, and we're going to have to sort through the garbage. But YouTube tends to recommend not necessarily just the sponsored videos, but most of them are, but because the sponsored videos tend to be better, and they also tend to have much better information. So yeah, absolutely. Start searching up your own situations, and you might find something really simple to figure out what's going on with yourself. Because I don't know, when I worked in the pharmaceutical industry, I was dispensing a lot of medications to the elderly, to people just all over the state of Alaska. And the most common question I would get is like, what can I do differently? And a lot of them were just people that just sat on their couch, played on their phones, watched TV and movies. You're like, what can I do differently to live a little bit longer? Because many of them were dying. And at that time, my biggest suggestion was just get up and do something. Get off the couch, go do the dishes, clean up a dirty corner in the house or something. Just movement. If we don't move, we tend to die. So if we're just going to work and that's our movement for the day, and we come straight home, this is something I'm guilty of. I did it for many years. I just come straight home. I would sit down. I wouldn't go for walks. I wouldn't go for bike rides. I would just play on my phone. I would watch TV. I'd lay down in bed and watch movies. Yeah, story of most people's lives these days. We need to get out and be more active. Shut the electronics off for a little while. Even if you want to use your electronics, just do it and move a little bit more. Go do silly things like play Pokemon Go. That's something I do still with my kids, is I play Pokemon Go on my phone. It makes me get out and walk and do stuff, and it's kind of fun. Granted, you can't ever see the screen unless it's the wintertime and it's dark, but yeah, it's just one of those things. Let's see. Donna, looks like you watch the same stuff I do. Yeah, Shannon. Yeah, Donna's right up there. Yeah, Shannon, I love Dr. Ken Berry, Anthony Chafee, Dr. Sean Baker. Let's see. I know I eat some weird stuff, but damn, I wouldn't be able to be carnivore, and that's totally up to you. I mean, being carnivore is a choice, and it's a choice that a lot of us came to quite accidentally, by the way. I mean, not everybody, I don't know anybody that's a carnivore that just woke up one day and said, I just think I'm going to eat meat for the rest of my life. And that's what I'm going to do for the duration of the time that I'm on this planet. I don't know many of those. What I do know is people just like me. I know thousands of them now from all over the world, that woke up and they were like, man, I need to do something about my health. And they started losing weight. Now this is all a cascading type explanation here. So my journey, like many others, like thousands and maybe millions of others, we started out with basic fasting principles. That's what got us started. We learned how to fast, and we were doing it in a confusing way, because we're still sugar and carb addicted. And so all of a sudden we realized, like, all right, this is working really well. We get to a point where we're like, okay, this isn't sustainable. So now I need to do something different. And then they work into a keto type diet. That's where I was as well, and many others that I talked to. Even these big YouTube channels that you see out here talking about health, nutrition, doesn't matter what spectrum of diet they're doing. They all kind of fell down the same set of stairs that I did. So we went fasting, we went to keto. Keto got confusing because keto's confusing. And then they chose different directions at that point. So I went KetoVore because I was already there for the most part, according to my viewers. They were like, hey, why don't you just do carnivore? You're already KetoVore. And I didn't even know what KetoVore was at that time. So I started looking into it. Again, the keto topic is vastly confusing. So I was like, all right, well, let's try carnivore. And I was still transitioning at that time. So yeah, fasting, KetoVore to carnivore is exactly how I went. And now after a while, I'm probably going to go back to a KetoVore type lifestyle. Now, it's a lifestyle that I created as I was transitioning, but I was extremely happy when I was eating 90-10. So 90% meats and fats, and 10% I love my life. Because once in a while, we're going to have a holiday, we're going to have an anniversary. I am going to eat a piece of cheesecake on a birthday, or let's say my wife and I's anniversary. I'm going to enjoy those moments because that's what they're for. That one piece of cheesecake isn't going to throw me off the rails so freaking far, that I have to be ashamed about it. That's my special day. That's my day to treat myself and treat my wife or treat my children. Now, my kids are having birthdays. I got too many kids. So yeah, I'm definitely going to avoid cake on their birthdays. That's just where I'm at. Okay. But let's say Christmas time. Christmas, I did extremely well, and I didn't really do extremely well on purpose. I wasn't, avoiding things. Now, I had things in mind. I was very stressed out about Christmas. I was very stressed out about Thanksgiving, even Halloween. What happens on Halloween? We eat nothing but candy. The kids go out, they go trick or treating, and they bring the big dad home a bunch of candy, and it's up to us to go through it, and we usually eat it all. And I was like, no, because that's a habit that I was into. Was my kids would bring home the trick or treat stuff. I wouldn't even go out with them. This year I plan on going out with my kids trick or treating if I'm not working. But yeah, I need to get out with them more and do more stuff with my children because, for the last 10, 15, 20 years, I was just screwing up everything. But some people get to that point, like where I went to keto. I was doing KetoVore, for instance. They might go, a more vegetable type route or a more omnivore type route. And that's totally fine. I mean, whatever works for you is all I care about. If you can find something that works for you, that doesn't fill you up with a bunch of overly processed nonsense, that's just requiring you to go to the doctor for like 12 different things, and you're not sure what's wrong with you, well, chances are if you just cut out all the processed foods, the seed oils, the vegetable oils, deep fried foods, the carbohydrates and the sugars, especially high fructose corn syrup, almost all those problems go away all by themselves, just like that. It's magic. So yeah, everyone can use the word fasting. Yeah, fasting's a hard one for most people to swallow. I mean, even when I was getting started, and I was in an emergency type situation, I was just about stuck in bed. I wasn't immobile yet, but I was to that point where I was going to be stuck in bed at 435 pounds. And I was just trying to find a way out. I was just trying to find a solution. The quickest way out is with fasting, by the way. And at that point, I was researching fasting and I was studying all these different types of fasting practices. At that point, I was really carb addicted, sugar addicted. My brain was swollen. My face was swollen. My head was swollen. I mean, you actually get water retention in the skull and stuff I didn't know. I wasn't aware of it at that time. Because when you get over 400 pounds, you start retaining water every freaking place in the body, and everything hurts. You got pain in different places. I mean, you're just so used to it. If you're at that weight, you're just so used to the pain. So you tend to ignore it. You tend to ignore the reasons for it. But I researched a 5-day water fast, and I was like, all right, let's see what that can do and what other people's results were. And I spent about 3 months, seriously, 3 months researching all different types of fasts. I was super confused because there was so much conflicting information around health, nutrition, what to do. So I was easily persuaded into doing things that wouldn't work for me. And one of the things that did not work was eat less, move more. That was crap at 435 pounds. Now, moving is important, but moving comes, increased movement comes with the process, especially when you're starting out at such a high, body weight of 435. So I did try to get out at that time and move, and I was injuring myself. I wasn't able to go to work. I wasn't able to do anything around the house. I wasn't able to help the wife do the dishes. Everything hurt. I mean, I was seriously in pain. I had to sit down and lay down, and barely make it to the bathroom times because I was just so screwed up. But yeah, that's just one of those things. I think I'm going to take a couple more bites of this and give the rest to the dog. Fast after remedian is created as a, I don't know what that means. No one fast after, Ramadan is created as a stem. I don't know the terminology you're using, but okay. One time you fast, you come once a year for a month. Oh, you're talking about overseas there. Yeah, they do. They fast for like once a month. They're not allowed to eat between sun up and sun down, if I'm correct. I have looked at that, but I was surprised when I heard that. A friend of mine from India, actually, he's in China. I think he's from Pakistan, but he's in China now. That's where he lives. But he was teaching me a little bit about that 1 month fasting that they practice, where they don't eat anything from sun up to sundown, unless, of course, you have a medical issue that prevents you, or you're elderly or an infant, young people like that. And I thought that was absolutely fascinating, by the way. I was like, wow, that's crazy. A 1 month fast. But it makes sense when you put it into the terminologies. They're literally just not eating from sun up to sundown. So that makes it a lot easier to comprehend up there in our noodle brains, especially if we haven't even looked into fasting or any aspects of that. Now, the Christian belief, what we used to do when I was kids is we used to fast either the day before or for 2 days after a holiday. So sometimes we would go for 24 hours the day before a big holiday. We wouldn't eat anything at all. We just drank water. If we did consume anything at all, it was really, really small stuff because we knew we were going to be into the food, on our holiday when we get together with family. And then if we didn't do that, we'd celebrate the holiday with family, and then we'd fast for at least 1 to 2 days after that. And that was just to give our gut a rest. Totally normal. This is something we used to practice when I was a kid. I'm only 50 years old. So, which seems like a lot older, but I feel like I'm 30 right now. Now, since I started the carnivore diet, I feel like I'm 30, and I regained this feeling like I'm 30 years old in a matter of 1 year, almost 1 year exactly. So not this weekend, but next weekend will be my 1 year weight loss anniversary. I'm trying to plan a special type video for that. I don't know how amazing the weight loss is going to be, but I'm trying to figure out something for that video. And yeah, we're just going to go from there. We're just going to keep on going, guys. I don't see me ever wanting to stop talking and sharing just how easy it is to lose weight. Because losing weight is not hard. Anybody can lose weight. We've all done it, but we don't know why it works. We don't know why we keep going backwards. So we might lose 50, 20, 100 pounds, and then all of a sudden we're just, what the hell? It's all back. And then we gain 20 pounds over that. Why? Why does that keep happening? It's because we forgot to educate ourselves before we even got started. We also forgot to learn a few things about nutrition, ingredients, what to eat when, what to, why, stuff like that. It's really all simple. And with the carnivore diet, it just breaks it down and makes it super easy. So I can eat as much meat and fats as I want. I don't gain weight eating this way. So I can just maintain whatever weight loss I have. So if I should lose another 20 pounds and I don't go off the rails after that, chances are that 20 pounds of weight loss is just going to stick right there. And then I can just work on the next 20 pounds and the next 5 pounds and 6 pounds. On average, 2 to 3 pounds of weight loss is pretty per week. It is pretty healthy weight loss. So, and with the carnivore diet and the practices of fasting, we can lose a lot more weight a lot quicker. And the majority of that comes off with water weight because our bodies are trying to hold on to the water. Most of us are seriously dehydrated. And when you're dehydrated, your body just says, nope, we're not giving it up. We're going to pack it in your legs. We're going to pack it in your head. We're going to pack it in your swollen fingertips. It just all over the place. And that's when you're going to start having foot issues, knee issues, ankle issues, because your body's packing away all that water. And it's an oxymoron too. So the more water you intake, the less water your body is going to be inclined to want to hold on to. So if you have excess water, your kidneys are going to start working good, and it's going to start pulling that excess water out of all of those places because now you're hydrating yourself correctly. It's so funny. I had a hard time wrapping my head around it when I got started doing this, and I was just like, it still boggles my mind. Like, okay, I'm retaining water, my feet are swollen, now I have to drink like a gallon of water a day to get the water retention to go away. It's so ridiculous, but it works. Let's see. Fasting drains. You can't brush your teeth and say I'm fasting. I don't know what that means. Okay. That's a long face. I can make it longer. Let's see, what do we got going on here? Simple burn fat, go to gym, or eat healthy. It's not that simple. Just go to the gym and burn fat. Because the majority of our fat is lost when we're sleeping. We don't burn fat while we're exercising as a general rule. We sweat a lot, we lose a lot of water, and we lose a lot of water weight immediately because we're sweating it out our pores. Fat does not come out of our pores. That's not how that works. Fat is a stored fuel cell similar to the gas tank in a car. So when you start your car, you have to intake the air. Everything goes through a combustion process, and then it comes out the exhaust. Well, guess what your mouth is? Your mouth is that exhaust pipe of that car. So that's where all the fat's going, is up through our lungs, and then it's blown out as with the carbon monoxide we breathe out into the air. That's how that all works. We don't piss it out. We don't poop it out. When we poop and what's left in our poop, that is just stuff that either our body decided, hey, we need to get rid of it. That's it. That's not fat. That's just food byproducts that we don't need anymore, and it just kicks it out. Let's see. Yes, everyone does fast differently. They also fast for different reasons. Some people fast for religious reasons. Some people fast for health reasons. Some people are fasting for weight loss. Other people are fasting to reset gut health. There's a lot of different reasons to fast, and that's why it's important to talk about. But they all do similar things. They all have similar outcomes, which is usually increased lifespan. Please come home. I got beans and bologna. That sounds good. Beans and bologna. I mean, I'd eat the bologna over the beans, but beans tend to do some stuff to me. Delusions are hell of a drug. Yes, they are. But you need to respect. Let's see, who is that? I don't know how to pronounce your name. Budge Boy. I mean, he's actually being pretty respectful, Shannon. He's not being combative. I do understand. I can relate to where he comes from, by the way. It's, chances are, I apologize. I don't know how to pronounce your name, Boy or Bud. Yeah, okay, Boy. Just what general country are you from? I have an idea, but I'm just trying to clarify. And you don't have to answer that if you don't want to. I mean, personal stuff doesn't have to be released out here, especially on a live stream. I'm not trying to shame the guy in any way, because his beliefs are, on a more religious type aspect. Their teachings are a little bit different than ours here in the United States. So we share similar beliefs. United Kingdom, okay, but I'm guessing it's of an Indian descent. Okay, Pakistan, perfect. Yeah, I can totally understand where he's coming from. Yeah, he's not being combative. He's just coming from a different perspective and different way of life. Their cultures are totally different in a lot of ways, but they're also similar in many ways. We all want everybody to get along, for one thing. We all want people to have better health. Now, it's the way our cultures teach us better health is the hard part. Now, I also did some research just the other day on which countries actually eat the least amount of meats. And I was surprised. Pakistan and India, the Middle East in general, they're really, really low on the overall meat consumption. So they're eating all kinds of different types of foods that might be healthy, might not be healthy. But I do see that there's a major uptick in health-related issues in those countries right now. So that's concerning too, because as a general rule, we see a lot of the videos, we see a lot of the content provided from these countries, and they're really thin people. But are they healthy is the thing, and it's starting to look like they're becoming less healthy over time. And I think that has to do with a lot of processed foods and the oils and that type of stuff that they put into their diets now that they didn't used to before many years ago. Let's see. So Heather's got something going on there. Heather P. He told me change his life. Yes, that's right. Okay. Good. Yeah, fat is not expelled through peeing or sweating. That does not. That's not how that works. It's not how the body works. So just for FYI, if you're excreting fat through your urine, you got some kidney issues going on there. You got some liver issues going on there, and it's not the good type either. It's the kind of stuff that you want to get situated and fixed. Let's see. Heather P. Let's see what she said. I have visited nurse every single day. Never saw anything like this. They said they truly feel like it's COVID vaccination. Well, I hope it's not the COVID vaccination. That's a horrible story there. Now, I personally don't know too many people here in Alaska that have had like really weird side effects from the COVID vaccination. Now, I have been double vaxxed. I have not been boosted, but my side effects were basically everything under the sun that was a side effect after getting the shot. So once I got the shot, I had all the weird symptoms. I mean, it was just like a laundry list of weird symptoms, and it lasted for about 3 to 4 days on average. I was next to useless after the first shot. The second shot was a little bit better, not much better. I felt like crap. And then they offered me a booster and then a third shot. And I looked at them. I'm like, are you freaking nuts? I said, I do not want to put myself through 3 days of hell again for no reason at all. And there's so many people out there that never got the shot and they're doing just fine. So yeah, it's just mind-boggling how little research went into the creation of this worldwide vaccination process, and it wound up screwing up I don't know how many millions or thousands of people. But then there's just like COVID itself. COVID would hit everybody different. When it came through our house, it almost killed my daughter. We found her passed out on the floor. We had to call an ambulance. This is when we all had it in the house. My wife was sick. I was so sick I couldn't drive a car. I could barely function well enough to call 911 to get the ambulance here. It was a freaking mess. Like everybody was sick except for my son at that time. I think he was about, I think he might have been 15 years old at that time. But yeah, the adults in the house were completely immobile and useless. I mean, like look in the bathroom, there's my daughter laying on the floor unresponsive. That was scary. That was scary times. But one thing, so let's see, who in the household here has had vaccinations? I've had vaccinations. My wife's had a couple. I do believe my son has had a couple, but my son was old enough at that time that we allowed him to make the choice for himself. And we did discuss over the table exactly, okay, this could happen, that could happen. What do you feel comfortable with? Is something you want to do? We gave him the pros, the cons, the I don't knows of the COVID vaccine. So we let him make his decision. Now we withheld our younger daughters, because we don't know. You don't know what the long-term side effects of the vaccination is going to be. If there's a doubt in my mind that they might not be able to have children, yeah, we're going to kind of keep them away from that stuff. So it is what it is. I don't even like getting the flu vaccination because the flu vaccination makes me sick for sometimes 2 to 3 weeks. So I try not to even get the flu vaccination anymore. Let's see what's going on there. We got Felix. They said J&J done the same. Ooh, blood clots. I don't want to hear about blood clots. I was forced being in the medical field. All right, let's see. He was 6. Now in another week, released in a month or two. I'm on book. This is the fun part about these live streams. Is we got a lot of conversation going on in the thread. I like it when people get along. People don't get along sometimes. We try to figure it out. I try to smooth it over as quickly as I can see it. Seriously, I just totally ignore the idiots. If somebody comes in here and is an idiot, I just look at them like, okay, that guy is on a lot of sugar. That's just where I leave that. So I don't take offense to anything. Look into COVID vaccine syndrome. I've looked into a lot of it, and I have to take the majority of it with a grain of salt because a lot of the stuff that's being pushed out now, and I don't discredit it, but I have to look at it with a grain of salt, because so much stuff is being pushed out right now, just for views and larger channels, and it's just like the weight loss industry. They try to confuse the hell out of you so you buy their product. Like, here, buy my product. It's proven by 3 doctors that don't know anything about health. They just know how to fix your athlete's foot. That's happened to me. So yeah, it's just one of those things. We just don't know what's going on. Hey there, Melissa. I appreciate you jumping in. I'm Big John in Anchorage, Alaska. I primarily talk about the carnivore diet. We like to do live streams. I do provide some random Alaskan type content on this channel. I've also been asking for people to send me postcards, and from what I know now, I got at least 4 or 5 people that are definitely sending me something in the mail. So that ought to be fun, or something for us to talk about later on down the road, because I'm looking forward to that. I wanted to collect postcards and basically keep them in a solid spot for after I pass away. I can put something on the top of it, like Daddy's YouTube channel or whatever, and my kids can fight over those momentums later. Vegas, I eat whatever. Yeah, I used to eat whatever too, and that didn't work out so well for longevity. It created all kinds of issues when I ate whatever I wanted. It was fun though. I had fun. Me and my wife used to call it Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph night. We knew it was unhealthy options. We knew it was unhealthy eating, so we'd order out pizza all the time. And also the random desserts that come with like ordering out from like Domino's or Papa John's. Really tasty stuff too. A lot of sugar, a lot of carbohydrates. Horrible for when you become morbidly obese and everything just stops working in your body and you get sleep apnea and all these other related issues. And then you go to your doctor like I did and you're like, I don't know what's wrong with me. And then I'm just like, oh, what do you mean I need to eat healthy? And then you leave and you don't eat healthy because nobody really explained to you the process of eating healthy. That's kind of what we're here to do. You just kick out all the crap food. Just kick it all out. Get rid of the high fructose corn syrup, especially. But I didn't realize high fructose corn syrup was slipping into like every freaking food option that was available out there. Because I'd buy food at the gas stations, center aisles of the stores, and I didn't until I really started understanding and reading ingredients. I was like, what in the hell? There's high fructose corn syrup and like ranch dressing and barbecue sauce and all kinds of different sauces, ketchups and mustards and sometimes mayonnaise. Just watch out what you're consuming. I had to learn. Let's see. Should I start with like bacon and eggs? I do bacon and eggs. I'm not sure what you're talking about specifically. Now I do find that eggs work better for almost everything that I'm doing, Heather. Bacon tends to make me feel away. So minimal bacon, 2 to 3 slices of bacon. Don't overdo it on whatever you're doing. But yeah, whole foods is definitely the way to go. No matter what type of diet you're doing, whole foods, single ingredient type foods. Now, when you're coming to vegetables, you got to watch some certain vegetables. You got to cook them to decrease the oxalates. That way we're not as prone to get kidney stones and have, issues with some of our other organs like our kidney or liver or pancreas. And those sugars, even alcohol, attacks the pancreas. And once you lose your pancreas, you're pretty screwed, or get pancreatic cancer. I think only 5% of people that are diagnosed with something like pancreatic cancer actually live after the diagnosis. And if they do, they're living a horrible life, by the way. I mean, it's not a win-win if you get over pancreatic cancer. You typically don't feel good. You're going to be a miserable person until you do expire. And it's a horrible situation. And some of the research that I looked at, I believe that cancer, pancreatic cancer specifically, is 100% preventable type cancer. So just keep that in mind, that you can actually prevent pancreatic cancer by just not eating a lot of sugars, not eating a whole ton of carbs. But yeah, the best part about being on a low carb, no carb type diet is because a lot of carbohydrates, especially the vegetable and seed oils, they create inflammation. Like we're talking stuff like soybean oil, vegetable oil, canola oil, anything corn is sugar. I mean, it's basically sugar based. So you have corn syrup, no different than high fructose corn syrup in my book. I mean, it just screws up the body. The body doesn't know what to do with it. So when the body doesn't know what to do with something, it tends to throw it in any direction it can think of, and it goes to places that it doesn't belong. And then that place doesn't know what to do with it either. So it just sits there. It creates inflammation until the body figures out how to process it and get it out of your body safely, because it doesn't want to hold on to that. It doesn't want to hold on to the high fructose corn syrup. It wants it in and wants it out. And when that stuff just hangs out, it causes a lot of issues. And that's where the cancers and the random liver failure and kidney failure and intestinal issues, irritable bowel syndrome, that's where a lot of that comes from. It's from just too much confusion and nonsense. The body doesn't know what to do with it. So if we just practice, okay, I'm going to read some labels today, and I'm not going to drink that soda because it's full of crap. I'm not going to, use that sauce because it's full of crap and it's got more ingredients on it than what a tomato ketchup should have. Tomato ketchup shouldn't have that many ingredients on it. Tomato, maybe a little bit of natural sugar, some vinegar. I mean, there's not much that should be in ketchup. You shouldn't flip the bottle around and be force-fed an entire ingredient list. It looks like the Encyclopedia Britannica just puked on the back of it. That's usually where the red flags come from for me. So when I flip a product around, I'm looking at the ingredient label and I'm seeing that, oh, why is there so much stuff in this when there shouldn't be that much stuff in this? Like even some basic stuff like peanut butter. Why are there so many ingredients in a lot of peanut butters? And it's because the scientists sit there, and they're typically the ones that came over from the tobacco industry. They're famous for getting people addicted and hooked. So they know the exact amounts of sugar, the exact amount of peanut flavor, the exact smokiness, and they know the science of getting you hooked on specific foods. So that's their job. So yeah, they have all these widespread addictive type ingredients on this laundry list of ingredients. And it's always going to be on your favorite type things. So for me, Hidden Valley Ranch dressing, that was just one of them. Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, that was another one that disappointed me tremendously. There was a lot of foods that I just had to get away from because they were just full of crap. And I didn't understand that. I thought I was doing okay. I was only using a little bit of the Hidden Valley Ranch on my salads when I was eating salads, and it was ruining the entire benefit of any salad that you might eat. That's how bad it was. So then I thought I had this bright idea, like, all right, well, I'm going to improve my health a little bit more, and I'm going to start using like the oily type salad dressings. I can't think of the name off the top of my head, whatever that is. But it's made out of like some type of oil and whatever. But I thought that was better. And again, flip over the label, high fructose corn syrup right off the bat. It's like, really? And then it's like got soybean oil, vegetable oil. It's got 12 different types of oils that don't digest in our system. Our body doesn't want the oils. We can somewhat digest, like healthier type oils like avocado oil, olive oil. But our body really wants the natural fats. It doesn't want all that extra garbage type fats, because those are the fats that our body, again, they don't know what to do with it. Our gut, our stomach doesn't know what to do with it when we get them into our gut. So if you go to like the fair and you eat something that's deep fried in vegetable oil or soybean oil, it's going to taste delicious. I get it. I've eaten it too, for many years. But when you're done eating it, you feel like you just ate a glob of absolute crap about an hour later. That good dopamine rush of that yummy corn dog or whatever deep fried fritters that you might get at the fair. Yeah, fun times. It's one of those things that you should only do once a year if you're going to do it at all. Don't go home and recreate the entire day. But that's where the problem comes from. Is many of us come home and then we want to recreate the same messed up type foods that we just had at the fair, and then we want to do it throughout the year, and then we do it for holidays and we do it for birthdays, and anniversaries, and it just, man, it's just like a constant evolution of bad ideas, and they lead to people like me becoming 435 pounds, and it's just horrible. Lefty, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking? I'm 50 years old. Do you see a big difference in your food, your childhood to now? Absolutely. So yeah, I'm 50 years old. I started the carnivore diet little while back, about halfway through my weight loss journey up to this point. So I think I've been doing it for a while. I'd have to go back and look at the specifics, but it's been almost a year since I started my weight loss journey. I feel like I'm 30 years old. When I go outside and I go for walks, I feel like I'm 30 years old. I feel like I'm just in amazing health, tons of energy. I did notice the foods changed as I was growing up around 1990. That was around the time when I noticed a dramatic change in the food products that we have in the grocery stores compared to what we used to have. You know, products like Twinkies, for instance. You know, those things are designed to last for 100 years and still be somewhat edible. Doesn't mean they're good, they're edible. It means we can just eat them and our body can figure it out later. Let's see, you can tell by the skin. Yeah, my skin has cleared up dramatically. A lot of the skin clearness comes from just being properly hydrated. I mean, so when I look at all these other health channels and I'm looking at the guys that are promoting, you know, that they're influencers, they're promoting whatever type diet they're doing, I can tell just by looking at them, like, hey, your skin's super clean, you're really well hydrated, you know, you're doing at least that part right. I mean, I can't judge if anything else they're doing is right or wrong. But yeah, with the carnivore diet, it does give you that glow, you know, especially if you're hydrating yourself correctly. Alaska is not Russia. Alaska is the United States. We're not far away from Russia. You know, we see Russian fighter jets, you know, buzz through here once in a while, and then they play a game. You know, they go, the Russians try to fly over here for a little bit, and then our planes will just get up there and escort them back, and vice versa. So they play that silly game every so often. It's just countries testing each other, and very interesting. Thank you for answering. Absolutely. Let's see, Melissa, who told that red meat is bad for your heart? Yeah, red meat's not bad for your heart. Red meat is really good. I mean, I was under the influence that red meat was bad for my heart. I was also under the influence that bacon was super unhealthy, that eating eggs was super unhealthy and going to cause me a heart attack through all the cholesterol. Well, I found that to be the exact opposite. I have done week-long egg fasts where I've just eaten nothing but eggs. I believe one week I ate like over 100 something eggs in that week. I'm trying to come up with a fasting mimicking type week that other people can grasp the concept of, because fasting mimicking gets really complicated, especially if you do it according to how fasting mimicking was sold to the internet a while back. I mean, the guy that came up with it made it really weird. I mean, it has a lot of carbs, it has sugar, it has unnatural stuff, and the price tag that he started out with, like $200 and something, ridiculous. And this is for a fasting week. You got to spend that much money on a fasting week. Well, you can do that. You can do your own type of fasting mimicking. You just have to find foods that keep you in ketosis while you're doing this fast. So if you want to do a 36-hour fasting mimicking fast, you know, I was thinking of something like maybe using eggs, for instance, because eggs keep you in ketosis. And for people that eat vegetables, you can eat pickles. Dill pickles, specifically, the ones without the sugar, tend to help keep you in ketosis. But too many of them might take you out of ketosis. But now there's the thing with the eggs. When I did that really prolonged egg fast, and people are like, oh man, you ate how many eggs in a week? So I was eating anywhere from 8 to 20 eggs per day for an entire week. I lost about 7 to 8 pounds doing that. My testosterone levels, hormone levels, whatever you want to call them, they all balanced out. I felt great at the end of the week. I felt energized the entire time. I wasn't hungry, you know, because I was actually eating. I was still doing a fast, but I was eating. So it's not like a quote unquote, you know, fast, but I wasn't putting in other stuff into my diet except for the eggs. And I also done that with sardines as well. A full week of sardines. That was painful. That was a hard week. I got to day 4. I couldn't do the 5th day. So, but I did lose a bunch of weight eating sardines, because a can of sardines is only like 90 calories. And then you got a lot of omega-6s. You got all kinds of vitamins and nutrients that come in sardines. So it's like taking a multivitamin, every time you eat a can of sardines. So I can eat a can of sardines and I don't need the majority of anything that I might use now for nutrition. So like supplements. Now, natural cane sugar, my opinion on natural cane sugar is it's better than high fructose corn syrup. I mean, if we're gonna bat around the ideas of what sugar is healthier, I'll tell anybody any given day of the week, if you were going to buy a sauce type product, I will not buy the sauce that has high fructose corn syrup in it at all ever again. I will buy a sauce that claims natural sugar, because the amount of natural sugar that's in there is only going to be so much. Natural sugar does create a sugar spike, but the high fructose corn syrup, I mean, you don't know how much high fructose corn syrup they use, and they tend to really overdo it. That creates a major insulin spike in our blood sugar, and then also another crash that makes us want to eat another entire spoonful of that sauce. So we tend to ruin our food by covering it up with so much stuff that's got high fructose corn syrup on it. Now, if it's got sugar on it, it might trigger other sugar cravings in some people, but it's still going to be the healthier option over the high fructose corn syrup, hands down, any given day of the week. So, and since it's just a sauce, we're not using it by the gallon on our food, I tend to bat an eye at a few of those ingredients. Now, if it has something like soybean or vegetable oil or canola oil added in there, I'll pass. I'll stay away from that because that promotes inflammation. That promotes arthritis, swelling, all kinds of other issues, foot, water retention. So I try to stay away from those inflammatory type products. Not natural cane sugar, There's also some other bad substances and HFCs besides sugar, fructose. The high fructose corn syrup thing it's just nonsense. You just need to stay away from it. And did you know they have 50 different words for the word for sugar in the 50 different terminologies for the word sugar? Maltose, maltodextrin. It's not hard to find. It's easily researchable, but there's over 50 different words for sugar, and they use those words a lot. And learning those words is helpful. So if you see something on the back of an ingredient label of packaging and it's got a word there you don't know, it's really easy just to press the button on your phone and just ask it, like, hey, what does this mean? And sometimes you might find out it's sugar. Sometimes you might find out it's a product that's the oil-based petroleum product, especially food colorings, like what is red 40, yellow, blue. A lot of those food colorings are oil-based products. And when you overheat any of those food colorings, it creates a carcinogen. So that's something else to keep in mind, especially when doing home cooking. So if you're trying to make a cake, you're trying to make something fancy for your kids, and you're trying to make bright colors, just remember, if you overheat it, and the temperatures vary between products. So if you overheat food coloring, the chances are you're going to make it a carcinogen for your little kid's birthday party. That doesn't sound like a great idea, does it? So, all right, just keep that in mind. Keep it on the back burner. If you want to stay healthy, you don't eat processed foods or purchase anything that has an ingredient label with, exactly. You don't want anything with a huge ingredient label because, even if it's a healthy food option that's got nothing but organic foods and the ingredient label is just stacked, there's a lot of those organic ingredients that can be potentially harmful for some people, not all, but they can be potentially harmful and cause inflammation in a person's body. So I try to avoid anything with a super stacked list of ingredients, and it just works. I mean, just keep it simple. We've heard that all our life. Keep it simple, stupid. That was one of the things. All right, a couple more bites of this, and we'll be done with this. I'll give it to my doggy. Man, that tastes good. I was craving some meat. I was craving some eggs. A little bit of hot sauce. I might finish this. Yeah, I'll probably finish this bowl. It's been sitting here the entire live stream, and I've been going over an hour. Oh my God. But yeah, that is a problem. The bioengineered foods are becoming more and more available on our store shelves, and they're not afraid to tell you anymore. You flip over a package, it'll tell you it's got GMO or bioengineered foods. Um, they're counting on the customer to be an absolute moron. And I mean, because it's there. I mean, just general health ideas of wanting to stand in line at the hospital or stand in the line for better healthy foods. It's amazing how many people stand in line for the hospital and they think the hospital is just going to fix all their problems when all they have to do is stand in the short line. You know, the speedy checkout. Yeah, that's where you want to be, because that's where you're buying your healthy food options, because you don't have an entire shopping cart full of bullcrap. I am from Anchorage, Alaska. Mm-hmm. I don't even know what a glyphosate is, but it doesn't sound like anything I want to get into. Yeah, I live in Anchorage here. Let's see, some people. But yeah, that's been a problem with our standard American crap diet. Like, you know, a lot of us, we try to make healthier choices. Like, I used to think Subway was a good option, but I'd go to Subway and I'd tend to order a foot long, and then I'd add extra stuff on it. Sometimes extra cheese, extra mayo, extra sauces. What's in the sauce? I'm finding out that, okay, I need to pay attention to what is in the sauce if I think I'm going to start eating a healthier lifestyle, because I cannot trust Subway to provide us a healthy type sauce. It doesn't have a lot of crap in it. That's going to totally reverse, you know, even if it is a somewhat healthy sandwich with or without bread, because I've been known to go to Subway and just eat the insides of the sandwiches and I'll toss out the bread. That was one thing I used to do when I was trying to figure out weight loss, you know, basic principles of weight loss. So even Carl's Jr., I'd go to Carl's Jr., I'd order whatever burger, throw out the bread. If there were vegetables on it that I didn't want, I threw them away. If there were vegetables on it or sauces on it I wanted to keep, I just didn't worry about it. But at that time, I was at another level of my life. I thought I was doing better. And in theory, I was. Because you can lose a lot of weight eating certain fast foods from specific places just by removing a lot of the nonsense like the breads or the sauces. And you can actually drop weight pretty quickly and still eat foods that you like. Let's see, many oat-based products like cereals and breakfast bar. I cannot eat oat-based products anymore. Oh, that's too bad. You hate pickles. I understand that. It is a flavor profile type thing. I mean, it really depends on the pickle and the ratio of water to vinegar that's used when pickling, because you can actually lessen the flavor of that vinegar, that pickly vinegar type flavor. I like to do a 50-50 mix for my pickled eggs. So I'll do 50% water, 50% apple cider vinegar. Then I'll mix in my spices and stuff, and then I just made up some more. Pickled eggs yesterday. And by the way, if you guys go to Costco and you buy the Wilcox eggs at Costco, they say omega-3 fancy stuff on it. They're the brown eggs. Those are super good eggs for making food like this, or frying up eggs, or scrambling eggs. I did bump into a wall with them yesterday when I boiled them. I boiled about 18 eggs, and they don't peel worth a damn. I couldn't get them to peel. I boiled them for a little bit longer than 12 minutes, so they should have been just fine. I had an uneven, some of them were just uneven and weird. And considering those Wilcox eggs from Costco a lot of them have double yolks, which is great. I like the double yolks, but that's not great for boiling eggs. So I need to find another alternative to make what I like to make anyways for snacks. And it's kind of a keto safe snack. So if I come out of a fast, you know, even if it's a 24-hour fast, you know, I might just stage my day by eating a couple pickled eggs. That works pretty good. But yeah, when we eat breakfast, man, that's how we screw it up. We usually screw up our entire day with breakfast and our morning coffee. I mean, most people are adding in that crazy flavoring creamer crap, and it's full of freaking oil. It's full of soybean oil, corn oil, vegetable oil. It goes into that creamer along with the super sweeteners. What a way to wake up. And then people wonder why they're cranky. They forget where they left their car keys. They don't know why their cell phone's not charged and ready for the day. I mean, it's because you're already screwing it up right here. You're screwing it up with the morning coffee. So just be careful what you're putting in your coffee before you start your day. I drink mine black. For a long time, I was just drinking it black with 1 spoon of sugar. That was working out all right, but then I stopped sugar altogether. I've tried adding butter to my coffee. Not a huge fan. It's not horrible. And I have added some coconut oil to my coffee. That works out really well, especially if you're having irritable bowel syndrome or digestion issues where your stomach just doesn't seem like it's digesting food correctly. Try a spoonful, just a spoonful in your coffee of coconut oil. And that works out really well for getting things that just really don't feel like they belong in there out of your gut. And I had a problem with plant-based fibers and stuff like that. Just don't want to pass through my gut. Almost like there was a blockage, but I've had the X-rays and the C scans and MRIs and all that stuff. There's nothing going on in there. I just have gut issues from all the crappy food I ate for so many years. I never drank tea or coffee. It feels like a very high nicotine, but in a good way. I would love to get to India or Pakistan and get some of their, they make coffee different over there. I would love to drink one of their coffees. They make it in this really cool, like sandy fire pit where the sand's heated up and they run it through the sand. And it looks fantastic, by the way. It only comes in a little shot like that. I would love to try that. Now I found out a healthier hot chocolate that people can make. And it's just simply made with cacao. And cacao it's similar to cocoa. It's made from the same bean. It's just fermented in a different way. It's processed in a different way. So it has more health benefits. The cacao does. Cacao has a lot of health benefits all by itself. There's no sugar quality there. There's not a bunch of crap going on it with cacao. Now, a spoonful of cacao and a cup of coffee will give it that nice chocolatey flavor. Cacao is also useful for depression type issues. I use it for brushing my teeth. Because it tends to help with remineralization of the teeth. So if you had any minor dental issues, up around the gum lines or in between the teeth, or if I start feeling any sensitivity in my teeth, I'll brush with cacao. I don't brush with it every single day. It doesn't darken the teeth. If anything, coffee and cigarette smoke will darken your teeth quicker, but it's not like super abrasive. It doesn't ruin your toothbrush like people that were using. Remember that craze on YouTube where people were using turmeric to try to brush their teeth with and make them white? I tried that. Does not work. Ruined my toothbrush. Made it look permanently freaking yellow. Yeah, it stained my sink for a period of time. It was extremely hard to clean off of anything it touched, and that was with turmeric. Now, turmeric, if you don't know, that is that's like an Indian type spice. Turmeric, and I believe what else is there? There's cumin. Now, those two type spices, there's so many spices in there. So if you were to make some food items with turmeric or cumin, do not feed that to your pet. Now, I know a lot of times we'll make stuff and then we'll give it to our dogs. I gave it to my dog about a year or two ago. Almost killed her. And I was trying to figure out what I did wrong, and then I researched all of that. And yeah, do not feed your dog turmeric or cumin. Yeah, it'll kill your animal. That's scary. Well, let's see. We can purchase that in the UK. It has to be imported. Turmeric, a popular Eastern cuisine, contains significant amount of oxalate. Yeah, there's another issue there. Yeah, that's a good point there, Donna. So yeah, even pepper. Some people have said they have problems with eating just black pepper, because pepper is technically a seed, and a lot of seeds, they have oxalates and create a lot of inflammation. I found out garlic has a lot of oxalates too. So I'm trying to reduce my amount of garlic because I was eating a lot of garlic. I was eating so much garlic, you could like smell it protruding from my pores. I'd have bad garlic breath for like 2 days afterwards. Let's see, Donna. Yeah, science project. I was in grade school and it works. All right. Scrolling back up through a little bit, see if I missed anything. I'm sure I did. I'll have to try that. Corey said something. Add salt and baking soda to the water when boiling eggs. Now this time I did not add salt. Normally I add salt. I don't normally add baking soda, but I can definitely try that, Corey. That's a great idea. Corey's talking about adding salt and baking soda to the water when boiling the eggs, and it makes it easier to peel. So I'm definitely going to try that. I'm going to try that again. I don't know if I'm going to try it with those Costco eggs, because when they have double yolks, the yolk gets extremely close to the outer edge of the white. And that makes a problem when you're peeling it, because it just makes the white super thin. So when you go to peel it, it's easy to peel that layer off. And then you pretty much either have to eat that egg right then, feed it to your dog. You have to do something with it, because it's not going to work well for pickling the eggs. And that's what I was talking about before, is pickling eggs. I don't know exactly what an oxalate is, but I know it creates kidney stones, and I had a really bad problem with that. And they're Freya Glitch. Hey, I appreciate you jumping in there and saying hi. I was going to get outside and do some filming today of some neighborhoods, and I kind of decided not to, because we got this overcast sky and it's super gray outside, and it's kind of depressing me. That's the main reason why I do these live streams a lot, because I'm at home, I'm bored. My wife's out doing Instacart, and I'm still waiting on work to start for me. That should hopefully start in the next couple of weeks, because we're having problems here when it comes to paying the bills right now. So I need that to fix before the end of the month. Here's a link about oxalates. All right. Thank you, Donna. Hopefully that's useful to somebody. You should always make a pin needle size hole. I thought about trying that too, but boy, I thought about trying doing that, and I did not do that this time, because I haven't boiled these particular type eggs before. Now the Wilcox eggs here in the United States, their processing plant does things a little differently than most plants, because most plants won't even allow you to have a double yolked egg, and they're also less likely to kick out the egg because it has a little red spot. Like some of these processing plants here in the United States, they really go overboard when it comes to cleaning, washing, and processing the eggs, and then they have specific weights, on the eggs. So when you're buying the Wilcox eggs, you could have a pretty small egg, or you could have a really big giant egg. That's one of the reasons I like them. Plus, they taste like a meatier yolk. They taste better. I mean, I know people say all the inside eggs are all the same. Bullcrap. They are not. We all know that. If I go buy an egg at Walmart and then I compare it to this egg, here, everything about texture, flavor, just the overtone, that nasal hit you get at the back of your mouth when you eat a different type of egg, it's totally different. I mean, nutritional value wise, they might be correct, but yeah, eggs are not all the same. Now, I don't know if turmeric itself can cause kidney stones. It's the level of oxalates that can cause. Now, there's a lot of things that have oxalates in it, and I did some research not long ago on all kinds of different vegetables that had oxalates in it. Now, I was kind of blown away when I did and it was just a Google search, and it showed me a lot of different information on different oxalates and different vegetables. I should have took some notes down so I could have shared them with you, but it was kind of eye-opening, to see how many oxalates are in something like garlic powder, or just garlic in general, or onions, or peppers, or stuff like that. You can find oxalates in many different places in the plant-based world. And there's a lot of us out there, we don't do well with oxalates. Search Sally Norton toxic superfoods. Sounds like a good idea. So what I'm thinking about doing for a basic fasting mimicking plan. You guys tell me if you think this is a horrible idea or a good idea or something. I'm going to try it. But so like I'm a carnivore, so I'm going to do this with the carnivore diet. So it's going to be carnivore fasting mimicking. Now, like I said, I've done egg fasts before. So I'm thinking about doing a fasting mimicking of like a 36-hour to a 40-hour type fast with eggs.
one day and then alternating to the next day with a 12-hour eating window of meats and fats or whatever I want, and then rolling that over into the following day of nothing but eggs and sardines or something like, really, really solid keto friendly type foods, because I know for a fact that eggs keep me in ketosis. I know for a fact that sardines keep me in ketosis, and sardines actually promote ketosis, and the eggs are super healthy. So if I eat 8 to 20 eggs on that mimicking fasting day, I should be able to eat food and accomplish a consistent weight loss. And if I can do this reliably, and if I can do this consistently, and provide the information out there, to people that they're scared to death when they hear the word fasting. They're less likely to be scared when they hear mimicking, but then they get confused easily, especially if they're sugar and carb addicted, because they hear these words and I'm just talking from my experience. When I was to hear this stuff, or if you came at me with the word fasting and said I needed to fast, yeah, okay. The only time I took fasting seriously was before blood work. And even then it was hard, because you hear that word fasting, and you're just like, you automatically associate it with starving. And it's not starving. It's, especially when done correctly. Yes, you're not eating food. There's a big difference between starving and fasting. It took me a while to understand that, especially when I got started with a 5-day water fast. And I was blown away. 3 days into my water fast, when I physically felt my morbidly obese, chunky monkey body start shifting gears, and it was going into ketosis for the first time. My metabolism was like on fire. I was dumping sweat profusely. That was day 3 of a 5-day water fast. I was dropping pounds quicker than I could keep track of them. So literally every moment that I got on the scale, I was losing weight throughout that 5-day water fast. So if I was sitting here and I go weigh myself, I might have lost 3 pounds in the last hour. And a lot of that's water weight, because I was sweating. I was urinating really frequently because my kidneys were starting to function correctly again. I was kickstarting my entire system with that water fast. I was like, holy cow. And that was 3 days without food. The 4th day wasn't too bad. And then the 5th day, Friday was the end of my water fast, that big long 5-day water fast that I thought was impossible. I wasn't going to be able to do. My wife thought I was bat crazy for doing it. I mean, she was the whole time. She was like, I don't know how you're doing this. And the only way I was able to do it is I would remove myself from the room during meal times. I would go back there in the bedroom, watch TV, or I'd be at work. That was the only way I could stay away from the food. I couldn't just sit down here with family at that point. I can do that now. So if I'm fasting, I can just hang out and have conversation while everybody else is eating. Just give me some water. I'm happy. But that took a long time. That wasn't something that happened immediately. But that Friday when I did that water fast was like a marathon. I mean, I was so excited. I was so energized when I woke up in the morning. I mean, I just took my vitamins. I took my electrolytes. And I was off to work. I was just, boom, happy to go. I was happy I was going to be able to eat food later in the day. But I think the way I had that fast set up, I was technically done around lunchtime. I could have actually eaten at lunchtime. But I was at work, so perfect. Just like these 36-hour fasts that I do. I don't normally eat breakfast. So I can extend my fast to closer to lunch. So I'm actually getting a few more hours of autophagy and ketosis in there. Same thing happened on that 5-day water fast. I was at work, so I just waited. I didn't go eat the first thing that came to mind. Now, when I got home about 4 or 5 o'clock that afternoon, and this was before carnivore, guys. This was before I even got into the carnivore diet. I got home, and the wife had gone to Costco, and she came home with a bag of avocados. Now, for my limited experience and education around fasting, I knew that I had to come out of that fast gently. So we cut up an avocado, and it tasted so good. It tasted so amazing. It was like Mother Nature's butter just exploded in my mouth. I was like, oh my goodness. And that was just getting my gut set up for later on. That was great. And then we opened up another one, and I think I had the other one. But then I waited a little while, and then I can't remember what I ate after that. It was a while ago, but I think I had like some sort of patties, like maybe burger or chicken patties. I do believe it was protein related. Shortly after, I can't remember. Like I said, I wasn't doing carnivore, but I was still eating a lot of protein at that time. A lot of protein. I wasn't so focused on the fats. I didn't know a lot. I didn't know a lot about the carnivore diet at that time. I really didn't even know that it was a thing I would even try. I tried the carnivore diet only because a friend of mine that lives here in Alaska, they live down south on the Kenai Peninsula. He was having health issues of his own, and he was explaining to me, the benefits he's having from doing a carnivore type diet. He's like, just try it, man. Just eat meats. I mean, he was like just about screaming through the text messages and screaming through the phone at me. He's like, just try it. And at that time, I was horribly paranoid, because we're just force fed all this crap nonsense. It's not true. That eating too much meats and fats and all the fats is going to clog our arteries. We're just going to have, rotten meat in our colon. And yeah, the vegans push that one. I still laugh every time I see that, because I'm sorry, if vegans are believing that they're sorely mistaken. But if it's just fun and it's satire, okay, whatever. Pick on each other however you choose. But yeah, I don't like to pick on vegans. The only thing I do say is they're usually incredibly hormonal, but not all of them. Not all of them. I do have some that I follow religiously here on YouTube as well. Even though I'm not a vegan, I don't support the vegan way of life. But I do know some of them from the past, and also through doing this YouTube journey, to where they have some information that I like to hear. Because they talk about fasting practices and the way that they're doing fasting. And some of them are doing a extended 36-hour type fasting for up to 7 weeks. So they do 36-hour fasting, they eat for 12 hours, they roll back on for 7 weeks. They just keep that going. And I still need to get a hold of that one guy. He's been doing it for quite a long while now, and he is a vegan. And I'm really curious to get a hold of him again and see what's going on with his situation, because that is fascinating to me. Fasting practices are fascinating. Sustainable fasting practices are super interesting to me, because I found out quickly that fasting, for weight loss works, but trying to figure out a sustainable way of doing this, because I don't know anybody in their right mind that's going to fast every single day for the rest of their life and be happy. But this is why I do different types of fast. I experiment with fasting, because I got a lot of weight. I'm still over 300 pounds. I got a lot of experimenting I can do on my way down to my goal weight. So this is what makes making this type of content fun. Sharing these type of adventures, it makes it a lot more fun. So yeah, let's see. She documents everything in her book. Let's see, all well-established medical sources of information on the subject. And yeah, that's something that's always bothered me about the whole, health industry. When they start telling you expert advice, quite often these experts don't have names. As soon as I see something that's portrayed as an expert advice, especially in the media, and then they don't provide the person that's providing the advice with a name. It's just like blah, 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 blah is said, experts say. Well, experts want their name. Like if they're truly an expert and they're coming up with this awesome topics, they want their name out there. They want credit for that expert advice, don't they? I mean, at least if I have expert advice on something, yeah, I want my name beside it. So yeah, I definitely raise red flags when you hear expert advice, or this product is promoted by XYZ doctor. Figure out who the doctors are. Are they doctors that know anything about health? Because not all doctors do. The majority of doctors have very little health education in their background. They only know the basics. And a lot of that is just force fed down their throat, just like a lot of the information that we used to get when we were kids, because it was force fed down our throat. A lot of the health information came from commercials. Saturday morning cartoons. What do? We sat there and we watched cartoons like, oh. And then we saw these commercials for sugary cereals, unhealthy type snacks, TV dinners, easy stuff, Chef Boyardee. Just a lot of that stuff that got us confused up to this point. It's amazing. Do you hurt more? Phrase glitch. I'm not sure who you're talking to. Well, establishment. I don't hurt at all anymore. That's the beauty of all this. is that you stop hurting pretty quickly. You know, with the carnivore diet, you stop hurting pretty quickly. I don't eat mushrooms. I'm not horribly against mushrooms. I don't know. I've never really broken down the science of what's inside a mushroom or most mushrooms, but I used to love mushrooms, especially shiitake mushrooms. Frank Glitch, if you want to do a keto diet, do it only under supervision of your medical doctor. If you can't help you lose weight fast and heal other conditions, but it has major dangers. Well, there's not a whole lot of major dangers to the keto diet. It's just it's really confusing, Anna. I mean, it's just chances are you're going to do people that do the keto diet like myself and millions of other people that have the same story that I have. I mean, almost word for word, same story. You know, we got into the keto diet and we found out that a lot of the stuff being talked about as keto wasn't keto. It did the exact opposite. So yeah, we were losing some weight because we did keto somewhat correctly for a little while, and then we were, you know, trying to mix it up with other keto options, and then all of a sudden we're just like going backwards, and our weight's coming up and our health's going down. We're not burning ketones anymore, because you can tell when your body goes into ketosis. You feel a certain way, you know, even in a 36-hour fast, you know, because I've been doing fasting for a while, so my ketosis kicks in like right on the money, you know, when it's supposed to. So about 12 to 16 hours, I get hardcore ketosis kicking in. I can feel a change in my body, like I'm shifting gears in a sports car. My breath will change. Sometimes it'll be more metallic. It's all part of the process of being in ketosis. Now, here's the underlying factor of that is our body gives us that horrible flavor in our mouth. And we have to remember that if we're trying to lose weight using ketosis, is our body tends to give us that really bad breath, so that we'll take something and cover it up, which is usually calorie dense. So it could either be a drink, it could be chewing gum, it could be food, and that will take us out of ketosis. So going in and out of ketosis has to be very specific. I do not specifically try to stay in ketosis all the time, every single day. So before I start a fast, I try to literally take myself out of any possible ketosis to actually slam the door. I want that door shut before I start fasting. So I might create a sugar spike with either fruit. Sometimes I've been known to use something like as simple as a chocolate chip cookie, and then I'm off. I'm fasting. Okay. After that, no more nonsense. You know, whatever that cookie did, whatever that orange or that apple, banana, you know, strawberries, whatever, because I'm deliberately trying to take myself out of ketosis so my body will naturally come back in and shift the appropriate gears upon that time. Now, when my metabolism was broken, I'm talking about a new person trying fasting out for the first time. My metabolism was 100% broken. I wasn't losing weight. Everything in my life was bad. I had sleep apnea. I had all kinds of problems. I had anxiety. I had depression. Now, my first time fasting, it took me 3 days. And everybody's going to be a little bit different depending on your health and how screwed up your body is from the way you eat. It took me 3 solid days, 72 hours before I felt my body shift gears into ketosis. But like I said, during that 5-day water fast, that was noticeable because I educated myself enough to know that this feeling is coming. You know, I'm going to feel a difference. I'm going to start sweating. I'm going to start feeling anxious. And that's your body literally sending you a trigger to eat something. And the thing is when you're doing a fast, and this is why fasts work, because you're doing it for a set amount of days. You just don't start a fast and be like, I don't know when I'm going to stop. That's starvation mentality. That stresses out the body, and it doesn't work for a fast. So if you come up with a fast, you say, okay, I'm going to start on Monday at such and such a time. I'm going to end on Friday, or however long you want to do it. It doesn't matter if it's 12 hours, 24 hours, 36 hours, 40 hours. Just figure out your start date, figure out what you're going to do through your fast, what's going to carry you through your fast. The majority of that is just basically electrolytes, vitamins, first multivitamins in the morning, whatever you think you need, and electrolytes to get you through your day. And then have a solid end date to your fast and a specific plan for the type of fast after you're done the fast. Because if you don't have a specific plan when you come out of a fast, you're going to have some issues like I did the other day. I didn't think of my specific plan. And yeah, I ate protein, too much protein right away. And I experienced what a lot of others experience, which is diarrhea, because I didn't have enough bile. I didn't set my gut up to come out of the fast. So I made a mistake. I admit it. I have no problem telling people when I made a mistake, and when I did it right, and how I feel when I feel certain ways. Yeah, because everybody poops, by the way. We all poop. Republicans, Democrats, kings and queens, everybody poops. Let's see, because you fall, I can switch to ketosis in several hours, just skip breakfast and prolong fasting exercises due to weather conditions as well. Hello, sir. Story Boz. Hey there. You're my new friend. I appreciate that. I'll accept any wherever I can get it. I like friendly people, no matter what. I even enjoy the negative ones. I do. I mean, I get them all the time. You know, especially you got a big forehead, you got a long face. I'm okay. I don't care. I'm 50 years old, guys. I am so over the nitpicking. Because you know what? When you start losing weight and you start having dramatic success, sometimes your closest friends are the first people to tear you down. They're eating all the crap food. They're doing all the nonsense. They're going to the movie theaters, eating a whole box of goobers. And then they want to come home and say, you're doing it wrong. It's like, whoa, dude. Seriously? I'm doing it wrong? Because I eat meats and I eat fats, and you're just sitting there eating a whole freaking tub of ice cream right before bedtime, and I'm doing it wrong. Okay. You know, just because you're skinnier doesn't mean you're healthy. That's what I look at a lot of people and say, like, hey, you might be lighter than me. You might be smaller than me, but I know more unhealthy skinny people than I do unhealthy fat people. Because I was one of those random, miraculous. My doctors used to rave over how good a genetics I had and said, oh, you're like the healthiest guy that's morbidly obese that I've ever met. You know, your blood work proves it, your sugars, your everything. And I thought I was being mentally conscious of what I was intaking into my body. I just didn't know. I didn't have the education. You know, that's what we come out here to talk about. When you cry, it's salt water. It doesn't taste good, though. It's funny. I wonder if that you could use that for electrolytes, tears. I'm currently 303.2 pounds down from 395. Awesome, Gary Frazier. 152 days. Amazing. 85 pounds to go. Yeah, I'm looking to get down to, I would love to get down to 235 by the end of the summer. But here's the thing. We have to be realistic. Gary just said he had a big weight loss of his own. And just like me, you know, I've had a big weight loss. I've been doing this for about a year. So I've lost at least sustainably over 125 pounds in my weight loss journey in a year. So I have to be realistic as to how many more pounds I can lose in the next year or towards the end of summer. Now I could get down, I know how to get down to 235, and I could get down there really, really fast, but I want to be healthy when I get there, because it's pointless to be skinny unhealthy. That doesn't make any sense, because when you're skinny unhealthy, you're depleting your body of everything else that it needs in order for it to work correctly. And this is another reason why I do the carnivore diet, is because these health benefits tend to sustain themselves on the way down to wherever you're trying to get to. And they sustain themselves naturally. And so far for me, I can't personally promote the carnivore diet for a weight loss strategy, because I really haven't lost a lot of weight using, meats and fats and eating that way. I know some people that have, but for me, it doesn't work. So I have to implement in fasting practices along with the carnivore diet, because you can screw up the carnivore diet by, when it comes to weight loss, you can screw it up by eating things like chicken wings and too much cheese, just some little odds and ends there. You can screw it up with your sauces that you put on your burgers if you still use sauce, which isn't, I'm not talking about being 100% carnivore. I'm talking about those people with realistic expectations that still want to live a somewhat healthy, happy life, but get the majority of benefits through eating more meats and fats in their diets. That's where my 90-10 eating principle came in, especially when I got started, because I was eating 90% meats and fats, 10% I love my life, but I was also, for that 10%, I might have a bite of something that's off the rails, something I really shouldn't have, like a bite of cake or, maybe a spoonful of ice cream at a, here or there. Oh, my connection died. That's probably YouTube's way of reminding me I'm just about up on my 2-hour marker. So we're going to cut the stream there. I apologize and I appreciate those that stuck in here for this long. I had no idea. I was up on a 2-hour window there. I don't think we have any time restrictions for how long we can be on here. But anyhow, yeah, I'll be back again. I'll be definitely updating whatever weight loss I had throughout the weekend. You know, I'm going to save some specific numbers because I'm trying to hit a certain number before my 1-year anniversary video. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Yeah, if you're struggling with weight loss, you want to learn how I do it, just subscribe to the channel. It's pretty simple. I come out here and talk about this stuff on a regular basis. I have no problem, you know, giving the ins and outs from my personal experience. And as you can tell, you know, I'm not professional. I'm not paid to do this. I do this for free. YouTube gives me a little bit of ad revenue. That's all we get. I mean, we're not getting much of anything out here except for making new friendships and hopefully trying to learn something from each other. But all right, guys, God bless and take care. And thank you, Donna, and thank you, Amber, for always being in here, being so reliable. I appreciate you guys. But I'm going to fumble through the buttons, and I'll talk to you guys later. All right, God bless all.